Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching the first two episodes of the new Disney Plus series, Hawkeye. When it comes to the original six Avengers, a lot of people would say that Hawkeye is probably the least interesting. Not that he's a bad character, or that he's useless. I find his arrows quite useful when it comes to a lot of situations, especially involving the situations the Avengers end up in. But he's definitely more of the realist and the more cynical, down-to-earth kind of hero. And it's kind of hard to make him as interesting as some of the bigger and louder personalities in the field, like Thor and Iron Man and Captain America and so forth. Thankfully, the series does happen to make him at least somewhat interesting when paired up with a younger, less experienced hero in Kate Bishop. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story mainly focuses on Kate Bishop, played by Hailee Steinfeld. As turns out, not only was she actually in New York during the Chitauri invasion back in the timeline of the first Avengers, but she's also having to deal with getting a new stepdad and finding herself involved in a major crime storyline where she has the suit of the Ronin, the character that Hawkeye adopted in Avengers Endgame after half the population of the universe ended up going away. So yeah, now that Hawkeye's back in the public eye under his Ronin persona, only to have that persona being taken by a person he's never met before, he has to delay his Christmas vacation with his family, or more specifically, he can't go home to Christmas to his family yet, as he has to deal with the situation in New York with Kate, while he has to deal with a tracksuit mafia, LARPers, and a lot more street-level action than you'd expect from a Marvel series. But it's exactly that street-level action that makes this miniseries stand out from some of the other ones. In comparison to the multiverse storylines from What If, to the reality-bending powers of WandaVision, to all the time-based stuff from Loki, this one's a lot more grounded in reality, but that's part of what helps it stand out, even if the storyline does take a while to get to its interesting places. I understand that TV pilots have to take their time to set up characters and the environment that this story takes place in. That's a given. But after these first two episodes, it really feels like the story's only really getting started, and that's kind of a problem when you have 2 episodes into a 6-episode miniseries. Thankfully, Jeremy Renner and Hailee Steinfeld play off each other really well. They really feel like a good mentor-student relationship kind of thing, especially since while Kate Bishop does have great martial arts skills in archery, which is showcased several times in the 2 episodes, she's not perfect. She's clearly naive, she's clearly in over her head, but it's done in an endearing way, where she's clearly flawed, but it's done in a way that makes her likable and makes her also kind of a fangirl to Hawkeye, which I find kind of refreshing considering the lack of love Hawkeye gets. Plus, there's plenty of self-referential humor that I like in the series so far, too. Like, the Avengers have this musical called Rogers the Musical, which actually does have a pretty catchy song in the first episode. But yeah, I'm surprised Disney didn't already make an Avengers musical at this point. But on top of that, we also get a great LARPing scene with Hawkeye having to get his suit back from a LARPer who's dressed like a ninja. And yeah, that scene's the right level of ridiculous that you'd expect from Marvel for their more comedic offerings, but it does allow the straight-laced Hawkeye to, cut loose a little bit, even if he really just wants to get this over with as quickly as possible. And for those of you who have seen Black Widow, I do think that you should stick around for the series, considering that one of my favorite characters from Black Widow should appear in this series as well. She hasn't really done a whole lot yet, but you'll see what I mean when the series goes on. So yeah, it's kind of slow-paced. It's not the best start out of these Disney Plus Marvel series that I've seen, but I do think that if you wanted Hawkeye to have his own story with a capable partner, this one should definitely fit the bill. That's why it's going to get a 7.5 for the first 2 episodes. See you next time.